Are you tired of watching videos packed with useful facts? Don't worry, you've come to the right place because here, we're about to give you 23 minutes of purely useless information. But wait, this isn't just another random video. There's a twist. Somewhere in this video, we've hidden a random word. The first person to comment in the description will get a shout out in the next video. Lemons float, but limes sink, and it's all because of their density. Lemons are less dense than water, so they casually bob on the surface like they're on vacation. Limes, on the other hand, are denser and head straight for the bottom like they've got no time for fun. Even though they look so similar, this little quirk makes them act completely differently in water. Next time you see them in your drink, you'll know why. McDonald's once tried something wild. They made broccoli that tastes like bubblegum to get kids to eat their veggies. But instead of getting excited, the kids were just confused. Imagine tasting broccoli and thinking it was dessert. Unsurprisingly, the idea didn't work, and bubblegum broccoli never made it to the menu. Tomatoes, potatoes, and eggplants are all part of the nightshade family, which also includes some toxic plants like deadly nightshade. Because of this, early Europeans were scared of these plants and thought they were poisonous. Over time, though, they learned how to safely grow and eat them, and now they're some of the most popular foods in the world, showing up in everything from Italian pasta sauces to Indian curries. Chicago is called the Windy City, but surprisingly, the nickname has nothing to do with the weather. Back in the 1800s, journalists used it to describe Chicago's politicians, who they thought were full of hot air because of their long-winded speeches and constant bragging. Over time, the name stuck, and while Chicago is breezy, the nickname is more about its talkative history than its actual wind. Some ducks are surprisingly fast flyers. Mallards, for example, can reach speeds of up to 55 miles per hour when they're migrating. That's pretty impressive for birds that look so clumsy when they're waddling around on land. It turns out ducks are way cooler than they get credit for. Believe it or not, you can get cell phone service even on the top of Mount Everest. In 2010, Nepal installed 3G towers near the mountain, and later China added 4G coverage on the northern side. This means climbers can now make calls, send messages, or even post selfies online while standing on the highest point on Earth. Technology has made it possible to stay connected anywhere. When designing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the team took inspiration from the geography around Kyoto, Japan, home to Nintendo's headquarters. The mountains and forests of Kyoto influenced the game's realistic landscapes, like the Hebra Mountains and lush forests. The goal was to create a world that felt alive and encouraged exploration, much like wandering in nature. This attention to detail helped make the game one of the most beloved open-world experiences ever created. Broccoli has more protein than steak, calorie for calorie. For example, 100 calories of broccoli contains more protein than the same calories of steak. Of course, you'd need to eat a lot more broccoli to match steak's protein in volume, but it's still a great plant-based option for those looking for nutrient-packed foods. In Peru, wearing yellow underwear on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is a fun tradition for good luck, happiness, and prosperity. Yellow symbolizes positivity and new beginnings. Many people even buy brand new yellow underwear just for the occasion to boost their chances of a lucky year ahead. If you ever dream of starting a business selling yellow underwear, we can discuss it together on my Discord server. Links in the description. Bats are famous for using echolocation to navigate by emitting high-pitched sounds and listening to the echoes. But did you know many bats also have great eyesight? Some even prefer using their vision over echolocation, especially when hunting. Fruit bats, like flying foxes, don't echolocate at all and instead rely on their sharp vision to find food in low light. There are exactly 31,557,600 seconds in a year. This number comes from multiplying 60 seconds in a minute by 60 minutes in an hour, then by 24 hours in a day, and finally by 365 days in a year. It's a fun way to think about just how much time we experience, second by second, in a single year. Your stomach acid is incredibly strong, with a pH level of 1 to 2, enough to dissolve steel over time. Luckily, your stomach lining protects itself with a thick layer of mucus. This powerful acid plays a vital role in digestion, breaking down food into nutrients your body can use. Donna Jean Wild, a 58-year-old grandmother from Canada, set a world record in 2024 for holding an abdominal plank for 4 hours and 30 minutes. She beat the previous record by just 10 minutes. What makes it even more impressive is that Donna is a retired high school vice principal, proving that age is just a number when it comes to fitness. Camels' humps don't actually store water, they store fat. When food is hard to find, camels break down the fat for energy, which can cause their humps to sag a little. The water they need is stored in their bloodstream, letting them drink up to 20 gallons in one go and survive for ages without a refill, even in harsh desert conditions. How long will you keep drinking from that same boring cup? Switch it up with the useless cup. Just one sip from this cup and you'll gain an overload of insane useless information. Don't believe it? Click the link in the description now. When babies are born, they see the world in black, white, and gray because their eyes and vision systems aren't fully developed. Their retinas lack mature cone cells, which are needed to see color. Over the first few months, their vision improves, and they start recognizing brighter colors like red. By around 5 months, most babies can see a full spectrum of colors, turning their grayscale world into a colorful one. Women's hearts generally beat faster than men's because of differences in size and structure. A smaller heart pumps less blood per beat, so it needs to beat more often to keep up. On average, a woman's heart beats 6 to 8 times more per minute than a man's. Hormonal factors like higher estrogen levels also play a role in these differences. The human heart is a tireless machine, beating around 115,000 times every single day to pump blood throughout your body. That adds up to about 42 million beats a year. These beats are regulated by electrical impulses that keep your heart in rhythm, ensuring it works even when you're asleep. This non-stop activity keeps your body alive and thriving. Boys typically have fewer taste buds than girls, which might explain differences in how flavors are perceived. Taste buds detect sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and umami flavors, and research shows that girls often have a more refined sense of taste. This heightened sensitivity, especially to bitter flavors, starts young and is influenced by hormones and genetics. Did you know you can't smell while you sleep? During sleep, your brain reduces the activity of sensory systems, including your sense of smell. When you're awake, smell receptors in your nose send signals to your brain to process odors, but during sleep, these signals take a backseat as the brain focuses on restoration. That's why even strong smells like burning food might not wake you up, unlike loud noises or sudden touches. The planarian flatworm is like a real-life superhero of regeneration. If you cut it into tiny pieces, each as small as 1/300th of its size, every piece can grow into a fully functional worm. This is thanks to special stem cells called neoblasts, which can transform into any cell type. Scientists study planarians to learn more about regeneration and how stem cells work. Baby opossums have a cool trick. They can briefly hang from their tails to help develop balance and agility. As they grow, their tails can no longer support their full weight, but adult opossums still use their tails for climbing. They wrap them around branches for stability while their legs do the heavy lifting, making them expert climbers in their treetop habitats. When you tell a lie, your nose doesn't grow like Pinocchio's, but it does get warmer. This is called the Pinocchio effect, where the temperature around your nose rises due to stress and mental effort. When your brain works harder to lie, it activates areas like the insular cortex, which regulates emotions and body temperature. The stress increases blood flow to your face, warming the nose slightly, even if it's too subtle for the naked eye to notice. The random word is just around the corner. It might take a few minutes or maybe just seconds. Stay sharp and keep your eyes glued to the screen. Did you know that ripe cranberries can bounce like little rubber balls? This is because they develop tiny air pockets inside as they ripen. Farmers use this quirky trait during harvesting by dropping them from a small height. If they bounce, they're good to go. These air pockets also make cranberries float, which is super handy for water-based harvesting methods. Apples are surprisingly part of the rose family, scientifically known as Rosaceae. This family includes other fruits like pears, peaches, and cherries. Apples and roses share a common ancestry, which explains their similar flower structures like blossoms with 5 petals. While apples and roses might seem very different in taste and purpose, they're actually distant floral relatives. Peanuts are often thought of as nuts, but they're not. They're actually legumes like beans and lentils. While nuts grow on trees, peanuts grow underground in pods. This also explains why peanuts have nitrogen-fixing roots, which improve soil fertility. Their name and nut-like appearance have caused confusion, but in reality, they're closer to chickpeas than almonds. Growing a pineapple is a test of patience. It takes about 1.5 to 3 years for a single pineapple to fully grow. That's a long time for just one fruit. This slow growth process makes pineapples a tropical treasure, and every bite feels a little more special knowing the time it took to get to your plate. In the UK, many old street names reflect the professions of people who lived there centuries ago. For example, Baker Street is named after bakers. Streets where brothels were located were often called Grope Lane. Some of these names have survived in places like Bristol and York, though they've been slightly changed to Grape Lane over time. It's a glimpse into the history of how communities named their streets based on daily life. The short-beaked common dolphin holds the title of the fastest dolphin species in the ocean, reaching speeds up to an incredible 60 kilometers per hour. To put that into perspective, even Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, one of the fastest humans in water, swims at around 8 kilometers per hour. These dolphins are like the Ferraris of the sea. The random word is aurora. Be sure to comment it at the end of the video. Hippopotamuses have a cool trick up their sleeve. Their sweat is red. It's not blood though. Their sweat contains a red pigment called hipposudoric acid, which acts like sunscreen to protect their skin from harsh sunlight. It also works as a natural antibiotic, keeping their skin healthy even in muddy waters. Hippos truly have a built-in skincare routine. Cheetahs are nature's ultimate sprinters, reaching jaw-dropping speeds of up to 98 kilometers per hour. That's fast enough to cover 100 meters in just over 3 seconds, quicker than most cars take to accelerate. This speed is their superpower, allowing them to catch prey with precision in the wild. Truly, cheetahs are built for speed and efficiency. During the Manhattan Project, critical information was locked away in safes secured with the code 271828. This number represents the mathematical constant E. Physicist Richard Feynman famously cracked these safes after noticing clues, like the number pi scribbled on a secretary's desk. The peregrine falcon is the fastest creature on Earth, capable of diving at speeds over 390 kilometers per hour. This incredible speed makes it an unmatched hunter in the sky. Watching one of these birds dive is like witnessing a natural missile in action, perfectly designed for precision and speed. In Russia, there's a unique and drastic way to treat alcoholism. Doctors implant a small capsule under the skin that reacts negatively to alcohol. Even a tiny sip can cause severe side effects similar to withdrawal symptoms. While it's extreme, it acts as a strong deterrent for those trying to quit drinking. The scientific name for the striped skunk is Mephitis mephitis, which translates to stinky stinky in Latin. This name couldn't be more fitting for an animal famous for its powerful odor. While the smell might not be pleasant, it's an evolutionary defense mechanism that keeps predators away. Ants were among the first species on Earth to practice a form of agriculture. They grow and cultivate different types of fungus as food, carefully tending to their fungal crops just like farmers do with their fields. Beer ranks as one of the most popular beverages in the world, standing alongside water and tea. According to research, approximately 1,921 million kiloliters of beer were consumed in 2022 alone. From local breweries to massive global brands, beer continues to be a favorite drink across cultures and celebrations worldwide. When a pope passes away, the process to confirm his death involves an ancient and solemn ritual. A cardinal calls out the pope's baptismal name 3 times while gently tapping his forehead with a small silver hammer. If there is no response, the cardinal officially declares the pope's death. Male giraffes have a rather unusual method of determining if a female is ready to mate. They repeatedly headbutt the female's bladder until she urinates. The male then tastes the urine to check if she's ovulating. If the test confirms she is, he proceeds to court her. While it might sound strange, this behavior is a normal part of giraffe biology. The strongest land animal in the world is the African savanna elephant. These massive creatures can lift up to 6,000 kilograms, roughly their own body weight, from a lying position. Their strength is unmatched and essential for their survival in the wild, helping them move trees, fight off predators, and navigate challenging terrain. Yoda from Star Wars and Miss Piggy from the Muppets have an interesting connection. They were both voiced by the same person, Frank Oz. His incredible talent brought these iconic characters to life. The emperor penguin holds the record for the deepest dive by any bird. One of these penguins was recorded diving to a depth of 564 meters off the coast of eastern Antarctica. To put that into perspective, it's nearly twice the height of the Shard, the tallest building in Europe located in London. The Apollo 11 lunar lander had its fair share of challenges during its historic descent to the moon. The lander's computer crashed and restarted multiple times as it approached the lunar surface. Despite these nerve-wracking glitches, the astronauts skillfully handled the situation and achieved a safe landing, marking one of humanity's greatest achievements. The highest recorded jump by a mammal belongs to the puma, also known as the cougar or mountain lion. From a standing position, a puma can leap an incredible 7 meters straight up. That's roughly 7 times its own body height. Your fingers don't actually have muscles of their own. Instead, the muscles that control finger movement are located in your forearm and palm. Tendons act like strings, connecting these muscles to your fingers, allowing you to move them with precision and dexterity. This clever design helps keep your hands lightweight and efficient. In the early days of the modern Olympic Games, art played a significant role. Over the first 40 years, 151 medals were awarded for achievements in music, painting, sculpture, literature, and architecture. Baron Pierre de Coubertin, who founded the modern Olympics, believed that art was just as important as athleticism. Vodka is Russia's most iconic drink, and it's uniquely suited to the country's frigid climate. Unlike most beverages, vodka doesn't freeze easily. In fact, 100-proof vodka can withstand temperatures as low as -27 degrees Celsius without turning into ice. This quality has made vodka a reliable and popular drink in Russia's freezing winters. Vodka may keep its cool in Russia's freezing winters, but when it comes to keeping you safe online, NordVPN is the real MVP. Just like vodka doesn't freeze under extreme temperatures, NordVPN doesn't crack under pressure when it comes to protecting your online privacy. With NordVPN, your data is encrypted, your IP stays hidden, and your online activities are safe from prying eyes. Whether you're browsing, streaming, or shopping, NordVPN's advanced security ensures you stay protected. With over 5,000 servers across 60-plus countries, it's your ultimate tool for secure browsing and accessing content from anywhere. Plus, you can try it risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Stay cool and protected. Click the link in the description to get started. Snow leopards are incredible animals, and one of their most amazing abilities is their jumping skill. They can leap as far as 10 meters in a single bound, which is roughly the length of a London bus. It's a skill that helps them navigate the steep and rocky mountains they call home. When you wear headphones for just an hour, the number of bacteria in your ears can increase by 700 times. It's something most of us don't think about, but it might be a good idea to give your headphones a clean now and then to keep things hygienic. The Statue of Liberty isn't just a symbol of freedom, it also once served a very practical purpose. About a month after it was put up in 1886, it became a working lighthouse. For 16 years, its torch was visible from as far as 24 miles away, guiding ships safely through the harbor. If you ever visit the top of Chicago's Willis Tower, which some still call the Sears Tower, you'll get one of the best views in the United States. On a clear day, you can actually see parts of 4 states: Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, and Wisconsin. It's an incredible sight. Disney has been making magic for decades, and their achievements at the Oscars show just how much people love their work. They've won 26 Oscars and been nominated 59 times, which is more than any other company. It's a legacy that continues to bring joy to millions around the world. The famous Chupa Chups lollipop logo was designed by none other than Salvador Dali, one of the most famous surrealist artists in history. Back in 1969, he came up with the iconic design, blending art and candy in a way that has stood the test of time. You might not have thought much about the name M&M's, but it actually comes from the creators of the candy, Forrest Mars and Bruce Murray. They teamed up to create these tasty little treats, and their initials became one of the most recognized names in the candy world. The letter J wasn't always part of the English alphabet. It was only added in 1524, and before that, the letter I was used for both I and J sounds. It's amazing how something we take for granted today was once a new addition. Intense laughter, while a sign of happiness and joy, can sometimes have unexpected consequences. In rare cases, it has been known to trigger a heart attack or even lead to suffocation. Believe it or not, cheese is one of the most stolen foods in the world. About 4% of the world's cheese supply ends up stolen, making it a high-risk item for retailers. It seems even thieves can't resist the irresistible allure of this delicious dairy product. Bees, like humans, can sometimes overindulge. Drunken bees, which get intoxicated from fermented tree sap, face harsh consequences. They're often attacked by sober bees and may even be denied entry to their hive. Wearing a tie too tightly might seem like a small issue, but according to a 2018 study, it can have surprising effects. In addition to increasing eye pressure and potentially carrying germs, it can make you feel nauseous, dizzy, and give you headaches. This happens because a tight tie can reduce blood flow to the brain by up to 7.5%. Even style comes with its risks. Scientists have settled one of the most debated questions. The chicken came first, not the egg. The reasoning lies in a specific protein required to form the eggshell, which can only be produced by a hen. It's a conclusion rooted in biology that finally answers the age-old riddle of what came first. Penrose tiling, a fascinating geometric pattern, is named after mathematician and physicist Roger Penrose. Penrose tiling, a fascinating geometric pattern, is named after mathematician and physicist Roger Penrose. In the 1970s, he experimented with 5 differently shaped tiles to create patterns with unique geometric properties. Vodka wasn't always the social drink we know today. Centuries ago, it was primarily used for medicinal purposes. It was believed to have healing properties and was often administered as a remedy for various ailments before becoming a popular beverage worldwide. The eastern North Pacific gray whale is a champion traveler. It undertakes a nearly 20,000-kilometer round trip each year, migrating between its summer feeding grounds in the Arctic and the warmer waters of Mexico, where it raises its calves. This incredible journey makes it one of the longest migrations of any mammal. In the wild, lions are classified into 2 main subspecies. The African lion, known as Panthera leo, lives in Africa south of the Sahara Desert. Meanwhile, the Asiatic lion, Panthera leo persica, exists in a much smaller population around Gir Forest National Park in western India. These majestic creatures are closely related but live worlds apart. England is a country where the sea is never far away. No matter where you are, you're never more than 52 miles from the coast. It's a unique feature of the geography that gives the country its strong maritime heritage and deep connection to the oceans. Before he became a global rock icon, Jon Bon Jovi's first professional recording was a quirky Christmas song. He sang R2-D2, "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" on a Star Wars-themed Christmas album. When Gottfried Kirk Christensen, son of LEGO's founder Ola Kirk Christensen, tried to build a model of his house using LEGO bricks, it didn't come out to scale. The issue was due to the bricks' 5:6 width-to-height ratio. This led to the creation of Modulex in 1963, a smaller cube-based brick system. Unfortunately, these bricks were discontinued in the 1970s. Sharks are known to be some of the most fascinating predators in the ocean, but they also have a peculiar trait. When a shark is flipped onto its back, it enters a state of stasis called tonic immobility. In this condition, the shark becomes motionless and unresponsive, a phenomenon often used by researchers studying these incredible creatures. There's a popular myth that NASA spent millions of dollars developing a space pen, while the Russians simply used a pencil. However, the reality is much simpler and less dramatic. The space pen was actually invented by Paul Fisher, who developed it independently and sold it to NASA for just $6 apiece. Its ability to write in zero gravity, underwater, and extreme temperatures made it an affordable solution for space missions. That's all for now. If you caught the random word, drop it in the comments below, and the first person to guess it will get a shout out in the next video. Think you've mastered the art of knowing all the useless but fascinating stuff? You are wrong. Click on this video to get even more useless information which is necessary for your brain.